Hey guys, welcome to Beware the Awakening to a Dimensional Rift featuring our Alakazam EX from Scarlet Violet 151 with a Dimensional Hand attack doing 120 damage from the bench for 2 Psychic. It can also do Mind Jack for 90 base plus 30 more for each of opponent's bench Pokemon. So I'm playing this card with our Klefki Mimikyu stall with 3 paths to the peak and 1 Palkia to lock our opponent's rule box abilities. We also have the new Xatu for the energy acceleration / draw support, 4 Rare Candy with 2 Arven for the turbo evolution, 1 Luminous and 4 Fog Crystal with 7 basic Psychic to help us get our energies early, our regular supporters for a Xatu box, 1 Defiance Band for the extra damage, 1 Klara to retrieve our Pokemon energies, 1 boss and 1 counter catcher for the extra power play, with 1 Manaphy for the bench barrier. So that's all for the deck list. Now let's go for some gameplay and see how well this deck works. Okay, let's go for our first game with Dimensional Rift. We got Alakazam EX back in the game with the new Xatu. Clairvoyant Sense. Draw 2 cards, attach the energy. It's not a big not really a big improvement to the deck, honestly, but we do have our Mimikyu, Klefki, and Palkia to basically lock them with Path to the Peak as well. Just against the meta, counter, rule box abilities, counter basic abilities, counter EX decks, and V-Star decks. If they play the Snipe, we got our Manaphy. If they play Sableye, we got no Jirachi. So we have enough cards to evolve faster though, enough ways to Rare Candy as early as possible, and also the Kadabra, 1 Kadabra with enough balls for us to evolve as early as we can before Sableye gets to do the Snipe, before Sableye starts shooting with its Lost Mine, placing damage counters like crazy. So bad thing about Abra is that it only has 50 HP, and that means you need to evolve it really fast, or you need to play like a Bravery Charm or something just for it to stay alive long enough for it to get the Rare Candy. But we have 2 Arven for this deck. We also have the TM evolution with our 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Aromas, and enough Rare Candies. Obviously 4 copies of the Rare of the Candy, helping us evolve the stage 2 as early as possible. And evolve the second copy as well. So benching 2 Abra early is actually going to help you a lot, in the long run. Make sure you get to do that with this deck. We have enough cards to play the VIP. We got 4 Fog Crystal, 1 Nest Ball, and a couple, other cards to search for our basics as well. We got Aroma, as we said, and Ultra Ball for VIP, so we should be fine. And we're actually playing Luminous for this deck as well. Same goes for the King Gambit deck. For our last video, we did a lot of Luminous for the King Gambit just because we have not enough energies in the deck. So playing the Luminous helps you get your energies a lot faster. If you have problem getting your energies early game, if you can't attach your first energy on the very first turn, it may be really bad for your game. So in order to make sure you get the energies as early as possible on the very first turn, make sure to add enough special energies in the deck. If you can't add special energies, always go for Luminous, right? 1 Luminous is all it takes. So we obviously can't attach 2 Luminous on the Alakazam because it cancels out the effect, the rainbow effect. If you have another special energy attached, Luminous no longer acts as a rainbow. So we only are playing 1 Luminous, but it actually adds a huge difference to the fact that it makes your Psychic energy shows up a lot easier. Even if you're playing 4 Fog Crystal, 8 copies of basic energy isn't really enough. If you don't play Earthen Vessel, it's just not going to show up at the right time. So make sure you think about that, adding special energies into your deck, adding like Jet Energy if you have the colorless costs, adding cards like Gift Energy as well for 1 price decks. So anyways, here comes Charizard EX, and we actually have Palkia with the path in play, and that means no Infernal Rain for the energies. They have to attach 1 by 1 from their hand. So they're getting stuck. We're also getting stuck because we didn't get to Rare Candy Evolve on the last turn. Not sure why. We got 4 Ultra Balls. But if we attack with Alakazam on the last turn though, we would have the Natu in the active instead of Palkia. And that means they get to play Magma Basin. They are playing Magma Basin for this list because they are actually doing the double Charizard, triple Charizard list. They got the Pogo Charizard with also the 151 Charizard EX. And the Obsidian Flames Terra Charizard EX, which is actually doing a one-hit knockout either ways. So they got 330 damage for 4 fire with the 151 Mew Charizard. And they got, Burning Darkness is doing a straight knockout as well because we are playing Psychic type and they got the weakness advantage. So they don't really need to wait for the prizes for them to play the knockout on Alakazam. They just need the boss, right? Boss are counter catcher for them to get an EX knockout, which is quite easy. So we make sure to evolve multiple copies as fast as you can. Think about your next Alakazam immediately after attacking with the first one. You have to, evolve constantly like crazy just because they can quite easily just deal with your first Alakazam. Since we have Roaring Moon and Charizard right now, Psychic type really isn't the best type for meta, unfortunately. But if you're up against Snorlax control, can you imagine? Snorlax control plays the block ability to deny you from attacking by pulling out something that you can't attack with, like pulling out your Greninja or your Comfey and forcing you to get stuck in the active. Obviously, Lost Box has a lot of switches, but if you play like Bibarel, then you get stuck with the Bibarel in the active and not being able to attack with it. If we have, for example, Xatu in the active, we can still use Alakazam on the bench to attack to do damage on their active Snorlax. Even if we get stuck in the active, Alakazam still gets to do damage from the bench. So that's the advantage of this deck, is that any control decks that forces us to play a lot of switches is essentially cancelled off. We get to deny them the control aspect by using Alakazam's special attack. So that's super fun. Okay, we're playing Chorus right now for the boss. And the Mimikyu, pretty sure we don't need the Manaphy, but you never know if they're gonna do Delphox out of nowhere. I feel like it's always a bad idea to be losting the Manaphy. I don't know if that's the wisest move that we're making. We saved the Mimikyu though. I don't know. If we have Mimikyu in the active, Delphox can't do damage to the active at least, right? So we have that. But if they play like Heatmore with the Pogo Charizard and, Infernal Rain to get the energy, they can still snipe for double knockout. So Fire has snipe as well. I think losting the Manaphy could be a bad move, because we have Klara to retrieve our Mimikyu. If they knock out, if they deal with the first one, we can retrieve it from the discard pile. We got only one Klara though. It could be priced. But it doesn't seem like they have the Heatmore just because it feels a lot meta. It feels like this guy is a heavy meta player, and they do have the other Charizard though. That was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't actually realize that it's the Charizard from 151. The second one that they're evolving right now is actually the one from 151. It's irrelevant though, because as we said, they have the weakness advantage. So we should not really be attacking with Alakazam until we know we have the knockout in the active spot. So Alakazam can only do 120 damage from the bench with Dimensional Hand. If you want to do Mind Jack, you have to put it in the active spot. So at some point in this game, we actually did Mind Jack a bit too early, in my opinion. But I don't know, maybe it could be the right move. I have no idea. Because if you do it too late though, they could do a boss and then you got no Alakazam anymore. You never really know what's the right move to make, honestly. It takes a lot of experience to decide, right? When to play the right attack, the sequencing of strategies. I mean, it's really, really hard. It takes careful planning to win successfully at a game, or just simple luck, really. Experience is everything. In my opinion, if you have experience, if you, I don't want to say lose too many games. If you lose enough games, you will realize that, what not to do. All the wrong mistakes that I made in the past is actually helping me, make right moves, make right decisions at the right time, instinctively, right? By making those mistakes, I gained so much experience. So never look down on people when they lose games a lot, because they're gonna, they're gonna use that as their bucket of experience. And that's gonna be very useful for future games. If you can help it though, don't lose any games, because it does take a toll and you get frustrated and then you start like trying to push yourself too much and end up exhausting like crazy. I mean, I've gone there. I mean, sometimes if you lose too much games, you have to take a break and reassess your deck list, reassess your gameplay. Because there are certain moves that I make sometimes that are so questionable that I don't even know what to say. I mean, I've played this game so long, I should not be making silly mistakes like that. So, anyways, here comes Dimensional Hand for only 120, but hopefully we can stall with our Mimikyu inactive. We do have to expect them to do a boss right now, but they actually played Chorus instead. They may have Cross Switcher, Counter Catcher for the list. Counter Catcher is not going to work though, since both players have the same number of prize cards remaining. Maybe later, right? Counter Catcher is kind of a weird card, like Reversal, especially when you're doing knockouts. With an EX deck, if you are ahead in the game, you can't play the boss effect, so I'm not sure if more than one copy is necessary if you don't do like a control or spread deck. I don't think for a regular OHKO prize drawing deck, Counter Catcher makes a lot of sense. If you play more than one, it may just end up being dead weight in the deck. Not, you may just not use a single copy throughout the entire game. Just saying. Okay, now we're just gonna take out the Mew. They're giving us free prize, so they get to play Counter Catcher on the next turn. We're just gonna do it. So after this turn, we just need 2 EX knockout to win the game. And if they kill the Alakazam, we get to play Counter Catcher on the next turn. But we shouldn't be playing Counter Catcher yet. We should be hitting the Charizard in the active. And then I'm not sure what to do though. If they play the catcher right now, it would be like quite scary. We have to attack with the bench Alakazam, and then I don't know, hope to wall with Mimikyu. Let's hope they don't have enough boss and catchers, right? How many copies could they be playing, right? If they boss catcher all 3 of the Alakazams and take out all 3 without having to get past the Mimikyu or even play an escape rope at the right time, then they can win the game quite easily. So Mimikyu is not perfect. That's probably the reason why we saved the Mimikyu instead of the Manaphy, just because we're kind of preparing for escape rope, right? If they do Avery, we just need to discard both the Xatus. I don't think we need the Xatu. We're also preparing for Avery at the same time, right? Escape rope and Avery. Which one do you watch out for? If they play escape rope right now, they got the extra 1 prize, and then they just need 2 boss, 1 boss, 1 catcher to win the game against double Alakazam EXs. For some reason, they're not able to get the prize just yet. So this is the point where we did Mind Jack, not realizing that they got the knockout on our Alakazam. We're a bit too confident and just gave them the free knockout without having to do a boss. We should have just done Dimensional Hand and then play the Defiance Band at the last minute with the Counter Catcher for the last kill. So we have 3 prize remaining. If we play the boss on the Charmander, all we need is 1 last knockout, right? 1 EX knockout to win the game with our catcher at the right time. Unless if they plan their knockouts more strategically by doing a boss on the Xatu and then drawing 3 prizes after the EX knockout, that means both players would have 2 prizes remaining, and that means we can't play our counter catcher. They get to do the boss on the last EX and win the game with their last Charizard doing Burning Darkness for a straight 1-hit KO. So what I'm trying to say is they can actually play Radiant Charizard to kill off for 1 prize, either the Mimikyu or, Xatu on the bench. They can actually take out Mimikyu though. They don't actually need to play the boss. So if they hide in the bench, we can't use our counter catcher anymore. So there are a lot of options. There are a lot of routes for this game. So many different ways, so many different pathways for you to take. And each path leads to even more decisions, right? It's all about decision making. If you know, if you can see ahead of time what's going to happen, if you have the foresight, it's all about planning ahead, right? But don't plan too far ahead though, because you never know what they have in their hand. That's the big problem. What if they do an Iono? What if they play an Avery, right? Too many what ifs is going to screw up your game. So sometimes just plan 2 or 3 steps ahead, but not 5 steps, 5 or 6 steps. Like 5 or 6 is too much. 2 or 3 is okay, right? Like, calm down. We don't need that much analysis. It's just unnecessary. Sometimes the simplest move is the right move. So just don't think too much and trust your instincts. If you have no idea what you should be doing, check your discard pile, check your prize cards, check what you have inside the deck with a simple Nest Ball and not bench anything. If you don't want to bench anything, you can just play it to look what you have, see what you have inside the deck. Obviously, you can only see your basic Pokemons though, but it should be able to give you a gist. If you have no more basics in the deck, you could actually look at other cards as well. Check your lost zones, check your other places in the deck, check your opponent's discard pile, just to give you a little bit more, a bigger scope, give you more perspective, give you a different perspective of the game, and give you a better analysis of the situation at hand, what you should really be doing, what you should be focused about, what they could actually play on their next turn. It's all very important. Okay, we did the boss, and we are actually going to target the Charmander for this game. Because we have 3 prize remaining, it only makes sense. We have the Defiance Band, and Arven as well. If they play Iono, we got Arven. So we got no more retrieval for this for the list. We used to have 1 Klara, 1 retrieval. Now we only have the Klara to fall back on. If they play Iono, it would be really, really terrible. Because Iono means we can't play Catcher anymore, and we can't play our Defiance Band. But if they don't play the Radiant Charizard, if they don't play the Radiant on this turn right now, then they are actually forced to attack with either of the EXs, and that means we just need Mind Jack to win the game. We just need 1 energy on the last Alakazam, because they're probably going to do the boss right now. If they play the boss, they can't play Iono, and we have the energy in our hands, so we should be good. If they play Counter Catcher with the Iono, it would be a disaster, right? I guess that's why Counter Catcher sometimes is the preferred boss. Now I see why Counter Catcher is so strong. We were like dissing that card earlier, but apparently it's actually quite a good card. So now they have 1 prize remaining. We get to play the counter. And we get to add even more damage for Dimensional Hand or even our Mind Jack with Defiance Band. We got 150 damage, raw damage with Mind Jack right now. We're going to add even more with our tool card. We could actually take out even the bench Charizard. They got 130 HP remaining because they did Magma Basin. If they didn't do Magma Basin, we could actually still knock it out from the bench by doing Dimensional Hand for 150 damage using our Defiance Band. So the reason for the delay is because we wanted to do the Counter Catcher. I was just making sure if we have the knockout with our Alakazam. You never know because this game is super scary. Yeah, no disrespect there, just being extra careful. So we won against Charizard EX. Dual Charizard. How cool is that? Triple. I think they have the 3rd one as well. The Pogo Charizard. Because Pogo Charizard works really well with the 151. The EX 151. Because if you have 2 fire energy attached to the EX, you're actually able to use the 330 damage attack. Having the Pogo Charizard in play, doubling up your firepower with its ability, Burn Brightly. So anyways, now we're up against Palkia V-Star with Ice Rider Calyrex. An interesting new combo that's actually working well in Standard for regionals. I've no idea how it actually works, because Ice Rider is a VMAX though. I mean, if they kill you with a Roaring Moon, you would lose 3 prize, but then, oh, I think I see now. Because if you lose 3 prize, you get the counter condition. Not only that, they still need 2 V-Star or 2 EX knockout to win the game. The thing is, they can actually target, you can play Escape Rope or Boss to target like a Baby, a Manaphy or Radiant Greninja on the bench for the last prize. But still, they need 3 knockouts, right? They need 3 knockouts to win the game. Even with your VMAX down, they still need 2 more knockouts after that, which is actually kind of the same thing as if you play Chien-Pao with Palkia V-Star. They still need 3 knockouts. Either 2 EX with a V-Star or 3 EX knockouts for the 6th prize. So they got Suicune inactive for the draw support and also to hit fast with Blizzard Rondo. They can even play Melanie for the energy. either for the VMAX, V-Star, or Suicune. How cohesive is that, right? So here comes Irida, searching for VIP and Greninja for the draw support. Interesting. We are locking their ability with Klefki though. So not just the Suicune, but also the Greninja. Oh my gosh. And if you don't already realize, Klefki is actually locking Manaphy's ability. So that's probably the reason why some players, some Alakazam EX players don't do Manaphy for their lists. Because if you have Klefki in the active, Manaphy is not guarding your bench. Um, but if you have Mimikyu though in the active, then Manaphy gets to use its bench barrier ability, its Wave Veil, to guard you from reading Greninja, to guard you against 𝑑𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑳, or Heatmore's Exciting Flames. So anyways, I think I'm just going to end the voiceover right here and leave you guys to focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Today we're featuring our Alakazam EX back in the game with our Xatu, the new Xatu, having Clairvoyant Sense, allowing you to attach an energy, extra psychic energy from your hand onto any one of your bench Pokemon, allowing you to draw cards as well. For each copy you have in play, you get to play his ability every single turn, which is super cool. We have our Klefki for the stall, locking all basic Pokemon's ability in play, and also our Mimikyu to wall off against EX or V cards, V-Star, V-Maxes as well. We also have our Palkia with Path to the Peak, locking them from using their Rulebox abilities. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for people. Enjoy life. you